Okay, we're on. Good. All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm a little late. It's about 11:08 Eastern. It is a Friday, and it is. Listen, it's the end of April. We're coming in here. I wouldn't be expecting any major any window dressing. Maybe people took some sales off the books yesterday after the rally. There was a little bit of this morning. The weaker hands kind of. It's a little. Listen, it's one of those days, if you will. All right. So here we are at TradeView Markets. Let me go into TradeGATEHub. And listen, there's a lot of things going on right now. I mean, Amazon's down 300. Apple had earnings. It's actually had an $8 range. It's unchanged right now. I don't know what you would want to be right now, long or short, but I'm just going to put on TradeGATEHub for a second. So I know it's that. My point being is I obviously know it's that type of day with a lot of earnings out, meaning you had in my list. I have a point. Trust me. Apple, Amazon. I'm saying this. Obviously, I don't want to look at my screen because when I look, I get diverted. Things are flashing like crazy. So I'm giving this full attention. That's why I have the book. Fizzler, Hood, which had a $1.50 move from low to high. X, U.S. Steel, Intel, Roku, Western Digital, Gerard, ABBV, the behemoth, as I pointed here. So what I'm saying is a lot's going on. So it's not going to be one of these. Afterwards, I'm going to take questions. I'm going to show you some charts, but I'm actually going to go the other way. And I'm going to talk about right now my favorite subject. And he obviously is interested in it too. And it's me, it's myself. And the reason why I'm doing that now, and the reason, considering everything that's going on right now, is, there's a lot. Approaching a 27-year trading career. Coach has been in the game longer. Tim actually longer as well. You know what I mean? We know what to do, and I already see everybody catching on in the room of what to do. Like I said, we're really going to put you where it is. I'll use the analogy again. It's a medical school here. All right, Coach is a cardiologist. I'm arguably a brain surgeon. Lewis could be an orthopedic surgeon. So everybody has a particular style, or should be developing a typical style. And these are one of these days where, as a business, and it is a business, and let me digress for a second. I would think one of the most insulting things I ever heard in my career, matter of fact, it is the most insulting thing, is when I went to one of my managers a long time ago, and I was having a little. It was the only cross section, if you will, or of my career. And I went to the manager, and I'm straight up. Every trader has good and bad points, and he said a lot of positive things, which about a little bit innate, talented, blah blah blah. And he says, when you stop, there are people that have, when you stop treating it like what he said, it's straight up. He says, when you stop treating it like a video game, then you'll start to really, how to trade, but it's a difference of making money. It comes down to these days at this time. Okay. Listen, I'm going to, after I'm finished dissertating, and trust me, I want to get into it too. There's a lot going on here. I'm not looking at my screen. Amazon's down 300. That's so important. How important this message, this statement is. And what I said is, when I want to talk about me, eventually you want to be me. And I'm not talking about a height of me being 6 feet tall and anything like that. But I'm talking, or even, it's when I'm talking about at this stage of a career, it's really, the point is, I always say that trading isn't that hard. Traders make trading hard. And this is a time where at least I'm coming through a crossroads of to that. I know what to do. Believe me, the TDOC, Amazon moving. This is one of the, it's one of these things where it's going to take you longer to get your disciplines down than it is for your stock selection. And the reason why I'm doing this and doing this now and foregoing opportunities, it's my choice. I'm here wanting to do it, is that it's so important. Like, for example, I took myself out of the game recently. This is my bread and butter. When the VIX is always over 30, and you go back to the past YouTube videos here on TGH here, press that red button, boom, you'll see. I've been talking about it more this week if I can. I really don't react or flinch. Yesterday I did flinch, and by the way, hold on. Well, I'm going to talk about it after. When I started flinching, the market had a 600-point turnaround, correct? Gerard, you got to give me that, kid. So it's, I'm not a home. You know what? I'm one of the best things I ever heard, if not the best thing, is when a former boss of mine or one of the other bosses says, I'd rather have five of you than two of a Stevie Cohen or something like that, which means my greatest acumens are taking money off the table out of the way. And right now I'm taking myself out of the game, meaning it's obvious that we've been saying that we wanted to wait this last 2 weeks. I haven't been taking any new positions or adding into long-term account. I nibbled here and there, and there's cash available. Still, I got a lot of, I don't really want to keep looking at a longer term account, because that's exactly what it is. And it even boils down to the cliche: if you really want your positions to work, don't look at them all the time. And I run a couple of accounts, but I'm glad I do, and that's my job. So what I'm saying is, I'm known, I'm a guy that hits doubles and eventually is known. Like if I was a baseball player, I'm a guy that hits doubles. You know what I mean? Eventually I'll walk, or, eventually I'm the guy that'll stretch a double into a triple. I'm not the guy you're going to call into at the bottom of the ninth with bases loaded and try to hit a grand slam. That's not my trading style. So when you take yourself out of that style, and I'm not trying to hit grand slams, what I'm doing is I'm going outside of my fundamentals, which actually kept me grossly outperforming, to the 2018 downturn. COVID, forget about it. I'm saying that. I wish there was another, I shouldn't say that. COVID, I thrived upon that volatility. And when the volatility is over 30, and I could literally just come in and be a professional and do nice, clean trades and not be waking up at 3:30 in the morning and micromanaging my positions, meaning I'm going to show you the positions that I'm fretting with right now. And it's going to even edify or prove to my point. I'll take a couple of questions afterwards. I'll tell you what I'm going to do with Apple and Amazon and position over the weekend, how I would play Roku and the TDOC. I am going to get into that. I'm aware. And though certainly I don't think anybody woke up or is sitting here waiting to hear me talk about myself. But listen, it's that sincere. You know what I mean? Don't take yourself out of when you see, it's just, there's one stock right now that's just nibbling at me. I'm going to get out of it, but I'm not going to hide it from my screen. It's just, I'm taking myself out of my business. For example, if I'm running a store on the boardwalk and it's raining all week, I'm still putting suntan lotion in the front when I should putting the raincoats in the front. You have to keep adapting, accordingly. The market is greater than us all. I told you. So it's not that bad. I'm giving a couple of positions. The day trades have been, my win percentage on day trades is over, I think, 84%. And it should be. Like I said, the reason why I'm having this conversation is you want to be in the position and to just, after a certain amount of years, to just go up and fire. It's a very cleansing, clean, as I would say, and Coach has been making some very clean trades. It's a clean feeling when you wake, when you can be fresh and not be, worried about ancillary things like the weather or, it's just that's the point where you want to get that. So the fundamentals are the most important thing, believe me. And you're going to get to a point here, if you're not already, or at least feeling or getting a taste. I know some people are. And once again, I apologize if this is redundant. And again, I'll get into specific trades, but you know what I mean? When it's the hardest thing that I would say, the hardest thing, that the one common denominator, or the hardest thing that every trader, big or small, has is, to sit on your hands. Mine has been, I would say, going against my gut feeling, which is exactly the kind of way you want to be at your stage, no matter how many years it is. It's really one thing that I read, and I'm going to do something. I'm going to post things over the weekend. It's obviously is no formula. That's why algos are made to make pennies. And Ackerman, Bill Ackman takes a $600 million loss on Netflix, or Kathy Wood right now is down to $1 billion on T-Top. We're all wrong, and it's just getting back to your fundamentals and getting down there. And I don't really look at things that much, because I straight up, I'm prided on getting out of issues or problems, but you just can't let get things away from you. Let me get down to TGH, and I'm going to get to some specific trades for those guys that are in the room for a normal time or regulars. Thank you for this, for hearing it out. And by the way, this is what I said. Lewis, first thing in the morning, said China. And I see the whole market seems like a binary play. It is not, if these reversals, if you will, including yesterday's reversal or dead cat bounce as we sit here now, you have to be aware. It's awareness and focus. That's my number one word, is focus. You do something with passion and you do something that you like and you work hard at it. Everybody's going to be good at it, and not to even go one step further. And you know what? I am preaching. I am a believer that you can do anything you want to do. You know what? I've seen I've seen a guy that doesn't know what the symbol for IBM is. Obviously, it's IBM, to make a good amount of money. And I've used this as a freak, a quant PhD from what's that place down south? What's that? MIT. Not even. I'm telling you, waste his time making spreadsheets. All right, so that's where I sit. And I'm saying this now, and I know the market's active. A couple of things. There's always another trade. You know what I mean? It's going to be the same as it is Monday. And that's just, I'll leave it off with this, is that you can always buy it back and you can always reshort it. I'm going to get now let me go through the TGH routine, but I'm also going to tell you the specific stocks, because I would be hypocritical, and have been to a degree, on what I'm talking about. Just a little poor position sizing, going against your gut, not using best of breed. So I'm human again. Like I said, I couldn't look myself in the webcam, or if I wasn't completely contrite, and I am. So, or else market sentiment, here we are. Okay. Like I said yesterday, if the oils weren't up so much and they were up between 4 to 8, some of them 3 to 8%, we would be down in the oversold category again. And it was evident in the little rally we had this morning. Fear. All right. You know what? Just let me say one other thing and give you the value of TGH. And it wasn't really, where are we? It wasn't really a specific trade. It was, let me make sure I'm sharing correctly. This was sentiment. And it was really, let me hold on. TradeGATEHub. I have so many screens here. It's very important that I show this, especially with the fear and greed index. And I'm going back to yesterday's. Obviously, look at the CPC. If you don't know what the CPC is, go to Investopedia. I've said it before, but if you want to go back, that's a good site if you want to know about short squeeze, that's what they say right there in a nutshell. But it's important. Even go back to what Aline said yesterday. Listen, a lot of this time I transferring this data, it's up for you to interpret as well. It's really it's like a chart. Some people might see it, some people might be bullish or bearish. But this is important. You know what? We have so much data that when I went off the page, not bad. I don't know why that is, but no big deal. Jim Cramer even said, so here we go. You dump your Amazon and your Apple. We're ready. And they dumped them both. Is he buying it? I want to hear if Jim Cramer is buying Apple and Amazon. It's down 3 bones now. S&P future sentiment. Okay, we opened down this morning, right? So we're in the hole again. You had to be quick on the rotation. That's all. AI weekly bull and bear indicator. It's so bearish out there. What I said, you know what you have to do is, please, I really would. I never ask you to go back to a specific video. Go to yesterday's video, because even I started flinching yesterday, meaning, wow, this is something, because they opened up and then they really dumped in the morning. I said, this is not normal. And I was getting a little bit uncomfortable, not at where I was, but where I could go. So, and I really tried to convey it. And I've learned this from many, many years on people, better traders than me at higher levels on the same desk, thank God, that when they start to flinch, that's like when they get nervous, that's usually the sign of that you could start maybe nibbling. And that was the time, actually. I hope you took advantage of it. Credit default swaps. I'm going to get into specific trades. This is the whole thing. I didn't hear Coach's video this morning. That's it. Look at what the reversal did. Look at the reversal had the market. Look at the reversal yesterday in the market. There was like a 600 down reversal, and look at just a little blip it did on the credit. So that's how much. And this is the S&P, and this is the the credit. The difference between the credit default. So look at just a little reversal it did at maybe a double or triple bottom, but God forbid it ever comes down to this level. We look nice, but if it goes the other way, it's going to get, listen, we're teetering. As I said before, this is one of the more important Fridays of my recent memory. Amazon's down 300, breaking down, arguably a bellwether. I'm not looking at the chart now. We'll look after. Apple had obviously what was considered a very good quarter, and the common denominator here was not how good it was, is how bad how Apple's taking the news when it should be rallying. Once again, it's some people may beg to differ. You could disseminate the information from yourself. Roku, dead cat bounce. Intel's breaking multi-year lows. I thought that would hold. It didn't. I mean, they're not even taking Intel up. And the reason why they took some semis up this morning might be a short squeeze. Western Digital, Gerard made a perfect statement this morning. And not to placate, but I appreciate his comment, because you know what? He actually knows what he's doing. And he trades these STXs. And after I said that, he made a good point. He said Western Digital had good earnings yesterday, but the stock was falling. I don't understand. Where's Western Digital now? It's up 78 cents. It should be up 3. And he's right. So that's what I'm saying is, you know, they create algorithms for fractions because they can't know how to handle longer term sentiment. You know, when this market in this, you know, this teetering area starts absorbing bad news, well, or vice versa, that's the best tell than anything. Obviously, as well as the option flow that is tantamount in my trading plan, one of 3. Besides looking back at my homework and looking at range stocks that had good range and volume, and they had a ton of them yesterday. With stocks and range and volume, Qualcomm was up 12. TDOC had forget, you know, the range. PayPal had a $14 range. That's what I'm interested in. You know what I mean? I'm not looking for the next little cup and handle on a breakout. Right now, I'm in the middle of styles. I'm a swing trader. Actually, I'm a great day trader, and I'm screwing myself up because these swing trades that are stuck, if you will, are stopping me from I'm upset. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm having suntan lotion in the front when it's raining out. So that's my own personal thing. I digress. All right. So when the news is taking Bailey, that was another thing. What else am I going to point at? I'm going to get to my specific things. What I do every day is I provide the consistent data. I punch up as TDOC. If you've been watching, we've been listening a couple of days. You know what I mean? I bought it poorly, as you know. I got out of it great, as you may know. So you know what? It wasn't that I turned. There's nothing worse than turning a winner into a loser, but I did turn a loser, or at least play defense. Excuse me. ABBV, a behemoth. Here's the ABBV chart. You got to be aware of this. Why? Hold on a second. Because stock not only has a $12 range, but it's the best of breed. Here it is. ABBV. Even this best of breed behemoth on April 8th, look at the bottom. April 8th was 175. 3 weeks. What is that, coach? 20%, $24, $17, $34? Yeah, that's 18%. And this, by the way, broken on the chart, bear flag, granted it had earnings. That's it, once it broke. So even stocks like ABB, so you know, what I'm saying is this is a great time for to get a TradeView demo if you don't, and learn your style, because this is the time you want to learn a style. Yeah, it's true, Lewis. Thank you. I appreciate that. Lewis just commented. You know what I mean? You know, this is the time don't you want to learn how to sail in a storm? You know what I mean? I don't want to learn how to sail when, you know, with the swimmels on. Get in there. You know what I mean? This is when you learn more about yourself than trading too. I digress again. All right. Getting back to TradeGATEHub and more trades. I'll have trades later. You got to be in the room. I post my screen in the morning. That's my screen. You can see the action when I'm looking at. That's it. Sharing this properly. All right. There's the menu. Anybody can ask what they want. Mike V, what are you doing today? Buy me 20,000 Apple. So this is my screen. Tesla. Everything is grouped together, and I'll tell you how I do it. The stocks that are acting the best, probably within the last week, are having good relative strength. I put on the top. TDD, out of all these cloud plays, if you will, has been acting the best. So if the futures are down a gazillion, I'm not looking like, whoa, what looks better here, ASAN or ZZ? ASAN, by the way, look at that. I wish that was true now. That was over 30 this morning. So what I'm saying is TTD is the best, so I put the best on top. PayPal, by the way, same thing, is acting the best. Square is in the same group. Everybody knows AFRM was nice. So, if something's going on, I know that, boom, I look right to the top best of breed within respective group so I can fire away. That's like one of my, whatever you want to call it, edges or whatever I do to make things easier. So there, I share my screen every morning. I was right before. So there's the menu. Mike V, you go, Mike V. Ask me anything you want, predicated upon that, right? I'm the chef. Mike V, how does the PayPal prepare today? Are you looking at to buy it at 90 or 95? I give you my answer, right or wrong. But we're going to be around it. All right. Also, you know what I mean? All right, let me tell you the stocks that are nagging me, that I started this whole thing off. Okay. Let me tell you about every principle, and I'm going to have to look at it. Unfortunately, look at a quote, BWV. All right, it's up. All right, now look at this thing, okay? BWV. Now, what I did, let me start by saying here, is what I did wrong here is I completely took myself out of the trade. And the trade was a lot of things to realize. If it's going to work, a trade usually starts working right away. I know one person on here, the boss, hopefully he knows that as well. So first of all, a trade like a contra trade this is a different one. Listen, the stock went from 62 to 10 in a day. But you know what? I got caught because every time it had 91 to even say 35, boom, right back to 70. Good. Every time it did it. All right. So I didn't buy it like, at 9. I started nibbling this. Do your own research with the BWV. Believe me, it'll squeeze. But I broke another rule. Never heard. I trolled somebody, and the only person that I'm blocked from, Antonio Costa, he blocked me because I was trolling him, and he was hoping. He says, "I'm hoping the stock goes up for a short squeeze, and I'm hoping for a stock going up for a short squeeze." Hypocritical. I apologize. He still won't unblock me, but all right, BWV. What do I have? I have 26,000 shares. My average price is like, and by the way, another lesson. This, Jesus, worse than I thought. The smallest positions, starters, wound up being the biggest losers. This started with a 2,000 share trade at 5. It turned into 26. I'm telling you, if it was a winner, I have to add to it. So let's look at this for 2 weeks. So BWV, it's a biotech, by the way. It's a funky vaccine situation. He is a nightmare, Costa. I appreciate that, Lewis. All right, so BWV, let's look at 1 month. Forget about the fact that stocks like everything else are correcting. BWV, that day when I looked at it, I said, wow, BWV opened that day at 63. This is a month chart, by the way. Let me take off this. Opened at 63, closed at 63. It opened that day at 35. All right, so listen, thank God I didn't think of this earlier. And I was watching it. So it went still from 35 to what? 10, still watching it. All right. I said, this got something here. Didn't touch it still. I think I bought it. I think I started right here. This bastard. I bought it this day with the volume because it was a strong day in the market. I think I started at what price is this? BWV. All right. I started at 7. So I avoided from 60. Now it should be asking me, why are you short? Because there are no shares available to short. You know what I mean? That's a good question. If anybody's going to ask, why don't you short it? Not really my style. Listen, obviously the thing is broken, and I'm not looking for 100. I'm looking for a short squeeze on a day that it goes up 30%, offer out in my 4 a.m. situations I get up for, and they get taken out. And it probably, you know what? Probably even take it off my screen. It goes in the end, it goes on my secondary situation. So this is a month chart. All right. So I think I started buying it at 7. Now my average price is 26. I think my average price is what? Actually, you know what? I'm going to tell you. Fuck it. What is my average price on this thing? I'm not going to tell you because that'll look at my old screen. I think it's like 5. I'm up. You know what? At 5.7. Yeah, here it is. There's my average price, 570 right there. So you know what I mean? And this is poisoning me. It's gonna pop. You know what? I'll even take. Listen, it pops to 470. I'll take a loss. The VIX is so high, I could take the loss. But now it doesn't trade. The volume died. It's trading freaking half a million shares a day, And another cardinal rule is that if you're looking at every tick, you have too many shares on. Now, like I said, I'm losing opportunity. I'm not worried about the loss now. I'll get out of it. I'll even take a little bit loss and I'll offer it out and blah, blah, blah. But you know what I mean? It's stopping me from doing what I'm doing best. What's the other one? XPON. You know what? XPON, I posted it yesterday. Everybody knows what I did with that. It went to 5 yesterday. I was waiting for, you know what? I'll punch it up. Fuck it. Another stock comes. I was stuck and I had my chance yesterday to get out. Is it up now? You bastard. It isn't. This is what it did yesterday. XPON. So by the way, it's a lithium stock. It's a good IPO. It was going with all the other ones. It was bouncing with Tesla and it acted well. It was a hot IPO from 11 to 8. Listen, it pops. It has good range. There's 4 to 6. Even yesterday had a range from 350 to 470. Yesterday, I sold half my position at 5 and I wanted to sell more of it. Here's 2 days ago. Let me punch up yesterday. Believe me, it was 5 pre-market. Matter of fact, I'll show you because it's an important trade. 5 pre-market it was. I said, all right. And I posted on TGH. I said, thank God. See, my average price here is 4, but my average price was 5. So it closed that day at 4. And I posted on TGH. All right, just like the BWV trade. All right, guys, I'm out of it. Next move. My timing was poor, whatever. And I sold half of it. I think I had 26,000. Actually made money on that trade. And you know what? I would never have seen that, especially the market turned around yesterday. It was up huge, that the stock went from 530 to 330. It's like freaking, what is that? And it's like 80% on a thick stock. I was sick. And now I have 25,000 shares. By the way, I didn't take yesterday. I made money in it, but I don't want to be in it. You know, I mean, I want to trade Square. I want to get into TDOC. These are where the stocks have range and volume. Now that things got no volume, and I'm watching it all the time. So another lesson learned. So I have 25,000 shares now. Average price of 413. If we didn't sell 16,000 yesterday at 5. Then it would be a lot higher. So I'm willing to take these moves and losses because I'm doing well day trading. But a couple of things that just, when it just, some things are getting out of hand. I mean, you know what I mean? ASAN is getting out of hand. You know what I mean? We called that nicely yesterday, but you know what? If you didn't take any profits yesterday, hold on, ASAN this morning, chirping about it. The top was when I started cheering. All right. So, there's so much overhead supply in this thing, including the CEO was down $1 billion. So yeah, that had good volume and made a 2-day move. But you know what? That's exactly what it needs, Lewis. It does need news. And that's why yesterday I told you what it had in the news, that's my out. Now the next time I'm going to wait for this thing to have news. Now it is, listen, it's $3 or whatever, it's $4. Yeah, SMH is good. I like that GFS. I do. I'll get into it after the good question. All right, so I'll stop pontificating. But you know what? ASAN. So I had 8,000 shares. It's brutal when you see the stock go this morning from 30 and a half to 28 and a half. 8,000 shares, 16. That's a big move. But you know what? If you have long-term conviction, you're looking for the 2-day swing, you just back to where you started. So I'm trying to take advantage of the VIX being at 30. And I'm waiting for these other little ones to pop, which is horrible. I'm waiting or hoping, another rule, and taking myself out of trading PayPal, which is a good liquid stock that, it goes from 92, from 93 to from 83 to 93 with good volume. That's my bread and butter. 8 p.m. pass. Lewis, I'm not, what? 8 p.m.? Don't worry about 8 p.m. What are you talking about 8 p.m.? 8 p.m. I didn't say 8 p.m. I wouldn't buy, even I wouldn't buy that stock. Don't worry about it. Let's get into questions. You like have SMH is holding up today, right, Coach? You're right. Okay, so let's look at Qualcomm. Yesterday it was up $13. This is what I think. So, and this is what I was taught. Qualcomm, it's semi, has a range from 130 to 150 in 2 days with volume. Good. Okay. So it has a range of $20 in 2 days. So it's under a couple of moving averages. Granted, it tested the 50-day. Don't I always say that the 50-day is the gauge of short or long? I do. If I wasn't in so much garbage, poisoned, I would have taken a shot. Maybe a fade, not a trade. I don't think Qualcomm's going back to 130 yet. But those are one of my criteria. A stock that has a $15 range that kisses up against the 50-day is a trade. Maybe I would have shorted 800 shares and take a couple of dollars, but it would help on these other ones. But Qualcomm, my point being, oh, yeah, go. Oh, cheers, coach. I'm sorry about that. All right. That puts things into perspective as well. I almost feel guilty going on with the lesson, but the lesson must go on. I'll say prayer, coach. You know I'm a religious guy. All right, Qualcomm. So it's down $3 today. I think that's bullish for the stock. For it to have a $20 move and only be down $5 from its high, give back 25% on that. I think that's kind of bullish. Let's look at my GFS that I was chirping on this morning. I think that's holding well, right? I mean, this stock had a 3-day rally from 49 to 55, $6 rallies. I still got some in the fund. They took a little profit, but I think that's holding up well. The only thing is it's got 50-day moving average pressure. That's just specific. What else? TDOC. All right, so you got to take a move. All right, so I'm in the stock. Started buying yesterday, you know at what? 42. My average price, I'll show you. No, I don't mean to be insensitive, coach. I'm using it as an inspiration. So you know what I mean? I am. TDOC, 2-day chart. Got to trade it. Why do you have to trade it? Because stock traded 70 million shares. Today did it 50 million shares. What do we always say we need to trade that I post every morning on the thing? All we care about, I don't even care if you know if the Fed is speaking tomorrow. If you're an intraday trader, I'm going overboard. Range, volume, and good price action. Here's TDOC. 2 days. Doesn't look like a lot, but it's from 30 to 35. Let's look at my trades today. And I'm looking for the same thing with these other small ones to take losses are. The only problem is they're small, low floaters why you always have to buy the best of breed or even a decent one with volume in the tertiary sector. Where are my trades today on TDOC? I wasn't hoping this thing goes back to 40 in hope, in terms of, to take off another loss and hoping. Trade it well. I came in long and again, as you know, stocks at 32.70. I sold on the way up, 32.70 to 35.70. It's a $4 move. All right, nice trade, my V. I made $5,000 in it. It was down 7. It was down 13 in it. Maybe my timing was poor, but I didn't get stubborn and say, all right, this thing's going back to 50. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to take moves out, and that's why I'm a little bit out of the game. So I appreciate everybody's time. Any other questions? I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do now with Amazon. Like I said, it's a Friday afternoon. It's a late Friday morning. You have a lot of, let me go back to TradeGATEHub before I move out. Hold on. Get this freaking thing off here. Let me go back to TGH. Where's my thing here? Get out of there. Hold on. TGH. This is, you know what? For everybody that's listening, expenses is a very cleansing experience. Almost a turning point for me, I'm going to tell you. All right, this is what I said, and I meant it. Of course I meant it. I said it. I said it. Okay, this was evident. After everything ran up, XBI ripping, I said, okay, let all the pikers take their money. After they were scared that they're going to have a huge down open with Apple turning negative and Amazon down. So everybody thought even myself, I took some profits. Who wouldn't? So I said, let them take their money after they're scared before the open and let the leaders back and fill. We'll see what happens afterwards. Gave you GFS, was up 4% at one point. APP, how you doing? Made a nice trade in Carvana. Heavy put open in PDD. Good point, G. Shop, okay? This is what I said. I said this 3 hours ago. This is a trading point, what we do with TradeView. I'm serious. Can't be more contrite. I will say this. Many of my colleagues are stuck in the shop long now. This one looked like it was okay to play. That was hours ago. Let's go to Shopify. It's almost like when I said yesterday, guys, I'm getting a little squeamish here with my longs. Maybe you should think about buying something. You know what I mean? Because when it's usually a sign of a low. So let's look at Shopify and why that was said. Clear trend lines. Shopify yesterday, by the way, had a lot of volume in a turnaround. It usually works when it does. It had a huge range, 412 to 440, finished on the high. You know what? And it looked like it had more room to go, probably even at 550. And that's what, okay. So my point is this, Shopify. Let's go to today. This is the unchanged line where it opens on 443. So Shopify was in the hole this morning at 422. So TGH. So when I say, seriously, I will say this, when my colleagues are stuck in a shop long, this one would look like it was good. The shop chart was key too. So I said, pay attention, buy the pros pain. And you know what? 2-day chart in Shopify didn't even break a new low. Actually, you could have brought it through yesterday's open, which would have yesterday's open actually would have been the best one if you're really alert. All the Shopify wanted at 430, he's making $30 on it. Don't be it's a $400 stock. It's a major percentage move. Big trade. Just like yesterday with my pain trade. I said, weird, man, I'm getting a little squeamish. You know, when a pro is about to say, whoa, you know what I mean? Buy my pain. I want everybody, I don't care what happens. All right, any more questions? Lewis? I'm going to leave it off there because you know what I mean? I'll post just like this, I'll post my screen afterwards of movers, gainers and losers. I'll post my screen again. You'll see how my universe has changed from 9:35 in the morning till 11:45, and I'll start doing it out the day if it's something that people think it's helpful for. But you know what? I'll tell you. Yeah, you know what, Lewis? I completely agree. I would I would pull a Jim Cramer, and I would buy some shop here. And I would keep some powder dry because a couple of things. It's a best of breed. It is, considering how it's acting. And when it comes out like it comes out May 5th. So if these stocks are acting like they're acting decently into bad news, then you take a short with Shopify. And that is the way the correct. You might not listen, they never give you the perfect setup. And Lewis is asking shop earnings, then attack it. But you know what? They very rarely give you the perfect setup in trading. That thing will probably go just like Facebook. Facebook pre-announced that the earnings the previous day, right? It was down 6. It popped 28 the next day on the open. They never give you the perfect opportunity. That's why I do the things I do and start buying things early on the way down. Because I'm not going to say, okay, it's time to buy, and it rockets 30% right from that area. It's impossible. But it's a good point in Shopify because it's the best of breed. It's acting decently off the bottom here because it came up with volume and range, and the other ones are acting. Amazon's acting poorly, but Apple could be acting worse, I guess. But let's go to the stock page. This is all you need to know. When I get back, I look at this. I told you I did away with the other website that I dealt with. I was paying $200 a month for it. I did away with this because this is what I do right here. Top gainers, right here. What's the top gainer right now on the New York? Hopefully, it's one of mine. FRGE, the stock of the week. This is it. FRGE. Let me go to my other shop going up now. That's good. FRGE. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about news. You don't have to worry about the Fed. You don't have to worry about Amazon earnings, although you should keep it as a gauge of what's going on as a general market because it's so levered with ETS. But you trade this FRGE. Look at this thing. This thing might rip. This thing's been waiting to go. It's a little low floater. I'm not going to do it. Why? Because there's enough volatility where I could trade the macro good stocks with volume. And those things aren't working for me right now. I'm usually good with the low floaters. But if they don't work, then it gets freaking stuck like this. An X-Pawn. You know what I mean? I know it'll pop. And by the way, this is what I need an X-Pawn. It might be sounding like it's that bad. And maybe it is. Hold on. X-Pawn. Remove all trend lines. Weekly. Daily. So I have 25 X-Pawn from 413. So this is where I needed to go. Where's 413? Oh, it's the red line here. All right. Consider where X pawn is and how badly it's done people. Yes, I'm in a bad position and I'm pissed. But yesterday, as I said, I only needed 5 and I took half of it off. Actually, I made a profit. So if all I need is right there in X pawn, hold on. I don't want to sell that now, baby. You know what I mean? That's what I need. It'll do it. I don't even think it's going to break down to 3. And if it does, I'll take it off. I'll sell it. But whatever. That's what I need in X pawn. Where's BMV? Hopefully it's still above 370. 388. All right, BMV. I made 5,000 in back today. What's this thing doing? It'll squeeze. Like I said, I don't think it's going to 60, and it's a poor trade. I'm embarrassed. I'm trying to let you learn from my lessons. BMV ripping. All right, here you go. Here it's coming with the volume. This is what I'm waiting for. Hopefully the other ones do it. Where's GFS to semis? Coach likes the semis. Acting well now. Where's the SMH? Second best trade of the week. Coming down a little bit, the semis, but it's at 236. Coach hammered this thing at 238, 236, 286, 226, I believe. That was the low. And it looks great. It's got the ultimate compliment right now from me. I don't care if they make widgets or popcorn. I mean, that chart with volume looks okay. It's holding the 8-day. It looks probably like it has that attraction to the 50. Yeah, no, it looks great, coach. I mean, I wouldn't short it. I wouldn't take it out of it. Good trade so far. All right, so I'll leave it at that. It's getting a little late. I went overboard. These are going more. G-Bone, any questions, G-Money? He's at lunch having a cocktail, G-Money. All right, guys, I'll leave it at that, okay? So, like I said, coach is saying you're not going to make everything back, and I'm not going to make everything back, or even going to be looking to add on a lot more. I have winners. Friday afternoon, we have, as I said, the Fed is out of the way a little bit until what, May 3rd or 5th. I'll get that back after you. I didn't get to the earning list. A lot of stocks probably make their move. I don't know if everybody's going to be that brave into the weekend with China stocks. Let's see how they hold. I thought the China stocks would hold our market up better. We're yet to see, but listen, you got to stay into the room, communicate with each other. We got some sharp people here now. My colleagues are in there, so pay attention, and we'll see you later. Enjoy your day, trade well, and please have a plan. If anything, I started out with, don't get out of your game. It's the worst thing. You know what I mean? Don't be a home run hitter when you have a 320 batting average hitting doubles. I'm serious. It's a big thing. All right, cheers, everybody. Have a good day. Enjoy the weekend.